Hello, everyone. I'm Shireen. I'm from Peace Vigil, the organization that is bringing you today's webinar. We are a peace education organization. We are based out of Johannesburg, South Africa. Our aim is to search history and the contemporary world to bring to you examples of how human beings have fought injustice, have fought prejudice and bigotry to establish a more peaceful, a more just society. And of course, Bhagat Singh and his comrades did that in their lifetime. Their lifetime was very short. They died very young. They were killed very young. And so to study their lives is in a way to study how injustice was fought in their time so that we can then learn from it. And our organization brings this material to you, whether it is webinars or we have lectures, we have interviews, we have drama, we have songs and quizzes. All of this is brought to you free. We don't have any paid staff. Please, I request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Peace Vigil. And there you can see 75 plus videos that we have created. I would just quickly mention the rules of today's webinar. There are only really two rules. One is that we are an open space, which means nobody is discouraged to ask questions or to post comments. That is our role. You know, we are peace educators. We want you to ask questions and post comments. And our esteemed speaker is a very patient teacher. He answers everybody's questions. So please don't worry. Don't feel shy. No question is stupid. You know, go ahead and put it on the webinar chat function that is on your screens. And the second request we have is that in case you don't like somebody's comment, you disagree with somebody, please remember that this is a space of respect. We must respect each other. So we must maintain that, that decorum, you know, the good manners to move ahead with each other. So without further delay, I'm going to ask my colleague, Sameer Dosani, to welcome Dr. Jagmohan Singh, our esteemed speaker for today's webinar, which is What Should We Learn from Bhagat Singh and His Comrades?
Thank you, Shireen. Professor Jagmohan Singh has had an amazing life and an amazing career, and it wouldn't be possible to go to give a complete introduction. We're going to need another hour or even more to give a full introduction, but I'll just give a few highlights. As mentioned last time, at the age of 1 in 1945, he became the youngest political prisoner in British India when he joined his mother, Bibi Amar Kaur, the sister of Bhagat Singh, in prison. So his understanding of struggle comes from an early age experience. He was one of the first generation of computer scientists in India, having been given a scholarship to study computer technology in 1983. His work focused on combining data analysis and technology to improve agricultural practice in Punjab and by extension all over the rest of India. In 1981, he first took a role as head of the Shaheed Bhagat Singh Research Committee. Since then, he has co-founded the Bhagat Singh Centenary Foundation. Professor Jagmohan has also edited the complete works of Bhagat Singh and his comrades, as well as the autobiography and speeches of Sardar Ajit Singh, Bhagat Singh's uncle. His work on sustainable agriculture, rural empowerment through improving the panchayati systems, and continuing to document the legacy of Bhagat Singh and to discuss that legacy continues, and indeed that is why he is here today. Professor Jagmohan Singh, thank you so much for joining. With that, I will just turn off my camera and you can unmute yourself and you can take it from there.
Thank you very much, Sameer and Shane, for giving me this opportunity. And thanks to all the participants who are online and will be joining us. Actually, this stimulated the question which was raised, that what do we learn? So it is important because when we talk about Bhagat Singh and his colleagues, it is important that we uh, learn that it is not one person alone. So it is important to take that whole group, and because they have been sharing with each other, uh, and they have been actually helpful to each other for building up whatever we find them now. So it is from that point that I have tried to share my things with you. The basic question is, what is learning? Learning is the process of acquiring new understanding, knowledge, behaviors, skills, values, attitudes, and preferences. So this is what we want to understand from those people who have played a very vital role in their life. How do they came to that level, and they excite and even stimulate us even today. So learning is immediate. It is induced by a single event, like anything like burning of a hot stove, or and then much skill and knowledge accumulated over repeated experience. So that is what were the immediate cause of which stimulated them to understand or learn about that. So these changes induced by learning often last a lifetime, and it is hard to distinguish learned material that seems to be lost from that which cannot be retrieved. So this is one of the problem. So I will try to find out. So we go back, last time we left, it was with the Jallianwala Bagh and martial law. This is one of the rarest photograph of the original scene of martial law. There are people with these firing squad, and this is, so this just, and this is next to Jallianwala Bagh is the Golden Temple, the, the seat of learning for Sikhs. But what happened is that those pujaris who were worshippers, they were appointed by the British, and one of the Sarbra, they were called Sarbra, that is who used to perform things. But he honored the butcher of Amritsar, that is Brigadier General Dyer, at Darbar Sahib. So this raised a big question in the mind of the patriotic forces. And this is the very interesting. How do they reacted to that? So the Sarbra was having a weakness that they didn't allow the Sikhs from Dalit families, which are called Majbi Sikhs, or the caste Sikhs, who are not even allowed to pay their homage or offerings. To teach a lesson to them, the patriot people, they gathered 500 Majbi Sikhs. And this is to be noted that they were baptized at Jallianwala Bagh and took them to pay their offering to the Golden Temple. And this, they make them face their contradiction. And when they refused, they insisted that no, you, as per the order of the Guru, you cannot refuse to them. So he said that, well, he went away from to Deputy Commissioner to file complaint. In the meantime, the temple was taken over by the patriots, and this was the start of the liberation of Gurdwaras, which was the beginning of the community-based democratic control of Gurdwaras. So that following it, there is another very important incident which takes place, is called Nankana Sahib massacre. And Nankana Sahib is Guru Nanak's birthplace. And this is a scene from there. So 156 Sikhs who were actually chanting verses were sitting there. They were attacked by the mercenaries of Mahant and were killed and burnt, and a lot more happened. And this happened on 20th February 1921. So it is almost 2 years after Jallianwala Bagh, this happened. And there was a public meeting on 4th when people gathered to pay tribute to these martyrs. Bhagat Singh also visited that congregation. And he got motivated that there is some message in the Granth which is not being allowed by these monks. To him, the liberation meant that the liberation of the knowledge. And that's interesting that now people wear black turban, but as a protest in the whole of Punjab, in the cities, villages, people started wearing black turban and black dupatta uh, as a mark of protest. Bhagat Singh also adopted this. He writes by that time I had begun to preserve the unshorn and unclipped long hair, but I could never believe in the mythology and doctrine of Sikhism or any other religion. So he started, but that motivated him to himself study what is there in the Granth, which is not being shared. So he started learning Gurmukhi. This is at the age of 14. So there's a motivation to him to learn Gurmukhi and read by himself to understand that. And this is a very interesting narration by my mother that when Bhagat Singh came, because he was at Lahore and the family was at the village. So when he came and he inquired that, what are you reading? She said, I'm just reading a selective uh, selection from that called Panch Granthi. So he said, I have learned what are the basic principles which were wanted to be learned by us. And he said that Guru Gobind Tegh Bahadur, before his martyrdom, sent a kind of principle to Guru Gobind Singh, which is Bal Shatkyo Bandhan Pade, Kushu na ho to paye. That if your strength is exhausted, then one is in bondage and cannot do anything to get himself liberated. But Guru Gobind Singh gave answer to this, and this is very important. Bal hua, bandhan shoote, sab kuch ho to paye. That if you regain strength, all bonds are broken and everything is possible. And Nanak's advice is, then you are uh, सब कुछ तुम्हारे हाथ में तुम ही हो सहाय, that you can do everything yourself and you are your own assistant. And this is very important, which Bhagat Singh concluded from there. He said the basic problem is that how to overcome one's weakness, because overcoming the weakness makes you strong. And strength is a multidimensional issue. Strength is bodily strength, uh, then your ideas strength, and then determination, and then strength of your organization. So he said in his term, actually तो बलवान बनना का मतलब है अपनी कमजोरियों को से ऊपर उठना. So that is which he learned. Another very important point, he said that Guru Granth Sahib had Kabir's doha in it, which says, Kabir Preet ek syo kiye aan dubida jai. That what liberates you from your own contradiction is to believe yourself or in one. And then he says, Pave lambe kes kar, pave karad mana. That it doesn't matter that you have the long hair or you have just shoven those things. So you may have long hairs or you may shave your head bald. It doesn't make difference. What makes is that you must have a determination and liberate yourself from the contradiction. And that very period, there was a very important virtually slogan, which became the slogan of that Gurdwara Reform movement, कि जात तेरी किसे पुछनी नहीं, अमलां दे होने ने निबेड़े. And Bhagat Singh used to sing that occasionally, that nobody will inquire about your caste. What will matter is what you act upon or what is your contribution to the society. So that is a period when Mahatma Gandhi was in Punjab. He was making a report which is called Congress Inquiry about the martial law and Jallianwala Bagh. And when this Nankana Sahib situation happened, Gandhi happened to be there. He visited there. So as an answer to this all suppression which was taking place, he that he virtually adopted the non-cooperation movement. So this non-cooperation movement was to withdraw the labor from any activity that sustained the British government and economy in India, including British industries and educational institutions. And it also had a support to the Khilafat in Turkey. And he said that self-reliance, और आजकल आत्मनिर्भरता का हमारा स्लोगन जो है शायद वहीं से आया है, by taking needs of your community was self-reliant, and end of untouchability was part of it. And when the meetings and strikes started on 6 December 1921, both Jawaharlal Nehru and Motilal Nehru were the first to be arrested. So here is very important that Gandhi is making call to the students. I have made some selections, lot of that again and again, because this was the calls which brought these young people leave their education. And it is interesting, Banaras was a center where free education was available. Chandrasekhar Azad, Rajguru, Manmat Gupta, and number of their earlier colleagues, they had come to Banaras for free education. But when Gandhi's call is that fear has become synonymous with our life, education is it which does not teach us to follow truth and to cultivate devotion for the country. So these type of the calls that leaving your schools or colleges is the first lesson in the freedom and train yourself in self-control. I want only such students as have the strength when the time comes to sacrifice themselves to mount the gallows on one side, and if they need, they can also back. Leave colleges only if the cruel injustice done to the country and to the Muslim has kindled fire in your heart. These are the original calls which were made by it. And as one of the socialist and leading Hindi writer, Ram Birak Benipuri writes, his assessment of that movement is that it was the image of storm which confronts my eyes. I can assert that no other movement upturned the foundation of Indian society to the extent that the non-cooperation movement did. From the most humble huts in the high places, from villages to the cities, everywhere there was a ferment, a loud echo. So that just winds up the situation which is there. And Gandhiji's advice to the students is, and finally he is wise, where we are becoming ever more defeatist, we are growing more cowardly. Basically, therefore, I would certainly say that our slavery has been increasing. And he say, but in Punjab, 1857, there were 30,000 schools, and now there are only 5,000. And this is done by the government to take away the right of education. And he say it is the power of organization which has given them, so we have to build that. So there is, you can gain your physical, mental, and spiritual freedom from this very day. Anyone who acquires the confidence of leaving will be acquiring this. So there are a number of these messages which were there. And this, the last speech he made on 30th November at Banaras, whoever leaves will be doing a great thing. Here that freedom lies. Non-cooperation teaches humility and call for great self-sacrifice. So listening to that, Bhagat Singh leaves his school. He still was in the metric 10th class and has not completed his metric. And he was so enthusiastic that even to his grandfather on 14th November, he makes a note that railway people are planning to go on strike these days. One hopes that it would begin immediately after next week. So he is not only participating, but sharing with his grandfather boldly that this is what is happening. Another very important thing in this letter of 1921 is he writes that I have bought a second-hand book at reasonable price. That means the learning was, and which he was sharing. So there is another, because Banaras, Chandrasekhar Azad became the hero of Banaras. Because when in Satyagraha, December 1921, he was arrested. This is his first photograph of that evening. He was punished by 15 lashes. But being a strong man, have learned to live with the Adivasis in the jungles of Madhya Pradesh. He had a tough man. He walked on his foot in the evening. There was a big public meeting which honored him. And this is the photo of that meeting. Just see that. So he came for education on Gandhi's that call. He drew himself and people virtually, and that is where his name Azad was adopted, because that is what he stated that his. And in Banaras has also contributed Sachindranath Sanyal, Manmat Gupta, Rajguru, so many other. So this is an immediate environment which has brought them to make their first sacrifice. And most important part is that in this movement, there was a lot of women, and this is one rare photograph where the women satyagrahis are being pushed or lathi charged by the British. So, 5th August 1922, the peoples were very enthusiastic. They were uh, protesting against the atrocities. The police virtually uh, have fired on them, and they followed the police to the police station. But when they came close to the police station, the police virtually fired and killed 3 of them. And but people then go out of control. And here is an example of what happened on 10th of April 1919 in Amritsar in Lahore, because people were killed and then they reacted back. Here also they reacted and they burned the police station, burning some of the policemen. Now post Chora Chori, there was en masse arrest, and 228 were brought to trial. And I had the list of those trials. They were just commoners. They were just from the backward classes, as we call them, or from the Dalits. Uh, and they were charged with rioting and arson. 6 of them died while in custody, and 172 were penalized with death sentence by hanging. So this was the severest death sentence which was given by the British at one time. But this gave rise to an outpour of rage. Then the M.N. Roy, who had just returned to India from Russia and was one of the communist leader, he called it a legalized murder, and he organized a big strike. So this forced High Court of Allahabad to review this, and then finally 91 given death sentence, while 110 of them were sentenced to prison. And one of the important thing is that many of them were only released after 1947. So they suffered, and this is one part of it. Immediately, Gandhiji was arrested on 10th of March. He individually took the decision and withdrew the movement. And as soon as the movement, the communal riots erupted, and even the villages were engulfed them. And one of the Motilal Nehru wrote in one of his letters to Swan Johar that it is the most unfortunate position that the communal riots has been extended to even villages. So one is that this is how this whole thing is taking place. And this, without consultation, this withdrawal virtually became, but see, Mahatma Gandhi ji is released in February 1924 after they have punished those people, after they have, these riots are coming up. Motilal Nehru, Lala Lajpat Rai, as well as Maulana Abdul Bari, top leaders were really angry. And this caused actually what was achieved as Hindu-Muslim unity in 1919 and later on, but this worst communal riots virtually changed the situation. And Sajanand Saraswati is another very, he was a Saraswati, a monk, a nationalist, but a peasant leader. His assessment is very important. That his critique of the withdrawal is that first he felt that politics should not be mixed with religion and moral issues, which is one of the wrong with the Gandhi done. He said philosophical concepts like truth and ahimsa are beyond the comprehension of a people participating in a mass movement. People are engaged more in grappling with material and economic problems. Thirdly, he said the leader should be ahead of the people in these matters since they consciously join politics and understand it. Finally, he said withdrawal of non-cooperation movement owing to peasant violence in Chora Chori on the ground that it was against ANSA was a betrayal on the part of the leaders of any army, all set to fight to finish. So that's an assessment of this. So this caused a kind of depression in the youth. But to come out of depression is by learning and discussion and action. And National College Lahore provided that opportunity to these young people. So Bhagat Singh had to really work very hard to join the college because he was not metric. So a special 1 month was given to him and he was tested very hardly. His one friend Jaydev Gupta confirmed this, And when about his life in National College, he writes, joining the National College, it was there I began to think liberally and discuss and criticize all the religious problems, even about God, but still I was devout believer. Uh, so in his own words, in the non-cooperation days, I joined the National College. It was there I began to think the same thing. And then he also writes, which has already been shared, about his that turban photograph, which we usually find. And this college was, this is the building which is still there in the park, Lahore. This is the National College building called Breld Hall. Actually, Breld Hall was the most politically centered thing. And after 1929, so Kishan Singh has to shift to it because their life in village became threatened and therefore crops were there. And this is Mr. Charles Bradley, who was first atheist within English political activist, but he was supporter of Indian freedom. It was dedicated to him. And this is that dramatic club. And this is the photo which we usually was taken out of this because this was immediately available in Lahore. So first it was, and it is at the age of 16. And this was the dramatic club photograph of National College. Sukhdev was his closest friend at the National College because he was the organizer of political activities. He was a very critical discusser and I think whatever Bhagat Singh has to think more deeply was his contribution. And then they had a mature comrade in Bhagwati Charan and Durga Bhabhi and their family. They are also National College product at the same time. So there is a
Dr. Singh, sorry to interrupt. I just want for the benefit of some of our viewers who don't know that Sukhdev was one of the 3 people who were hanged. So
yes.
with Bhagat Singh, he was hanged by the British, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. So his story is very important. I'm sorry, Dr. Singh, some people don't know that. Yes, thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, please.
Better to clarify.
Yeah.
And now another crisis in the home and opportunity for Bhagat Singh is there. That in 1923, he escapes from home to end discussion on marriage. And this is usually asked question about his personal life. And but one joke which he made out of it was that somebody who was negotiating that marriage or initiated, he said that those parents of the girl will give an elephant in dowry. And he said, oh, that will be very nice because he will eat away all our field of the sugar cane and we will be carrying just dung of the head. So that was, but he escaped from there and he reached Kanpur. And it's very interesting that Kanpur was another very important political center because all those people who came from Russia, because they moved to Turkey but landed in Russia, they had come back. The first Bolshevik conspiracy case was just going on there. But his apprenticeship with Shri Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi under pseudonym Balwant was very important because journalism is observe deeply, learn and share. So this apprenticeship actually gave him a lot of training and he discovered that. So political training was along with that. And the Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi is one very important person who was, he was born in 1890, was a bold journalist, an independent movement activist, organizer of the workers and farmers, founder of a Hindi paper, Pratap, and a magazine, Prabha. And Bhagat Singh has, and as Bhagat Singh, Rajguru Sukhdev were hanged on 23rd March, but he was not allowed to go to the Karachi and held up but in the meantime, there was riots in Kanpur and he was sacrificed in those riots on 21st March. So Guru and Shish both were eliminated by the British imperialism. But knowing a little more about Vidyarthi is important because he waged his famous fights for the oppressed peasant of Raebareli. It is much earlier. It is almost in 1915 before Gandhi actually came, and workers of the Kanpur mill and downtrodden people of the Indian states And during the course of these fights, he had to face numerous prosecutions, pay heavy fines, and suffer 5 prison sentences. So he was a pioneer to involve common people in the freedom struggle. And this is what he writes on 11th of January. He announced, now the time has come for our political ideology and our movement to be not to be restricted to the English educated and to spread among the common people, Samanya Janta, and for Indian public opinion, Lokmat, to be on the opinion of those few educated individuals, but to mirror the thoughts of all the classes of the country. Democrat rule is actually the rule of public opinion. So he was a pioneer in taking the freedom struggle to the common man, involving him. And later on 31st May, again writes, the much despised peasants are our true bread giver, Andata, not those who consider themselves special and looks down upon the people who live in toil and poverty as lowly beings. So there was another very important personality which Bhagat Singh met here is Maulana Hasrat Mohani. Uh, he was a very Indian radical freedom fighter, but he was a friend of father of Bhagat Singh, Kishan Singh. So he was in contact with him. He was a progressive and noted Urdu poet. The Inqilab Zindabad was the slogan which he gave in 1921, and Bhagat Singh met him and carried forward this legacy of Inqilab Zindabad further by innovating. So here also in Kanpur, he meets with B.K. Dutt. B.K. Dutt was the person who, along with him, went to the Central Assembly Big Bang program. Uh, they were the best friends. They were reading together as he had a discusser with Shaheed Sukhdev in Lahore. He found B.K. Dutt here. And he was his teacher of Bengali also. He taught Bhagat Singh Bengali. He memorized Bengali revolutionaries, particularly the poems of Qazi Nazrul Islam, which he could rewrite while writing. And here, from one of the poem of Qazi Nazrul Islam, he adopted his pen name Vidrohi. So this was the close relationship which actually was then that is chosen there. So he was returned back to Lahore. His father encouraged to participate in political activities, but with a warning that it is not by running away that you become a political activist. You have to be active. So he was active in Gurdwara reform movement, particularly. Uh, so he takes keen interest in this. He writes an article, first article of his life, which is available, is the problem of the language. Because at that time, not only on the communal lines, but on the language basis also, the communities were being divided. There is as if Hindi is language of Hindus, Gurmukhi is Punjabi is language of Sikhs, and Urdu is language of the Muslims. So he said that actually more important than the language is the literature. If the good literature is not there, the political conscience is not possible. And that is the tragedy of Punjab. And this paper was at just best. And this is in 1923, another movement started, which is called the Jaito Ka Morcha. That was on dethronement of Nabaz, that king. Uh, and, and that was so important that Nehru, along with K. Santanan and A.T. Gadwani, he visited Nabha, and he was imprisoned from 22nd September to 4th of October. The importance of that Gurdwara reform was not purely a Sikh, but it was a anti-imperial Rai. And this is what Nehru writes in his jail notebook, that I was in jail when Guru Ka Bagh struggle was gallantly fought and won by the Sikhs. I marveled the courage and sacrifice of the Akalis and wish that I could be given an opportunity of showing my deep admiration of them by some form of service. That opportunity has now been given to me, and I earnestly hope that I shall prove worthy of their tradition and fine courage. Sat Shri Akal. So Bhagat Singh was actually, he was challenged the British order because one of them, that Jatha, was to go through his village to Amritsar and then onward to Jaitong. This is called 13th March. So there was order that nobody will serve them even water on their way so that they can starve. But Bhagat Singh defied that orders. He prepared a langar. He mobilized the peasantry of the area, and that's the first time he is acting as an organizer. He served them, and it was a very thing. So his warrants were issued. He was shifted to Amritsar by his father, so that till that things are settled. And here in Amritsar, he stayed with one of the worker named Ibrahim, an activist. He was just on a small job of water control on the canal side. He had a hut, and he said, because he said that I can read there. Uh, but there is an interesting story, because there was always the worry between Ibrahim and his wife about their daughter Skina. But the person to whom his father has entrusted him was worried. He was a big sage. He came and he gave him a diamond ring. So he said, because that will satisfy me that I have full protection for you. But Bhagat Singh virtually handed over that diamond ring to Ibrahim and said that it will be useful in the sister Sakina's marriage. So that is a human angle which is there. And now this is the woman's participation, and this is a very rare photograph of one of the Jatha of women which marched to that Jetong. So that tells the story of how the whole Punjab was actually fighting. It is not only liberating or democratization, the Gurdwara control, but it was against the British were there. And, and that is the time when Belgaum Congress takes place. Mahatma Gandhi has been left out, released from the jail, and he is the president over there. And well, Bhagat Singh's father takes him to Belgaum so that he can teach him how to become a political participant. So, but Bhagat Singh had his own press identity with him so that he can freely talk and meet with the people. And it is interesting that his father made him meet Subhash, because Subhash was thrown out of the college in Presidency College, but later on he was sent to England. He passed ICS, but later on refused to join it. Similarly, Jawahar, and his father was trying to hammer him that until you learn or you are a learned person, you cannot contribute. And this is where the advice from the revolutionary Nirlamba Swami, because Nirlamba Swami had a long 2-hour discussion with him and is very satisfied with his. So this is actually Jatindranath Banerjee. He became Nirlamba Swami. He was one of the 2 lieutenants of Aurobindo Ghosh. And there, from 1905 to 1906, this Yugantar movement became. And this is what Bhagat Singh talks about, that he handed over to him a book called Common Sense by Shoam Swami. This is a Shoam Swami. But what Bhagat Singh learns out of it is the realism. The common sense is realism. And he writes twice in his that essay, Why I'm an Atheist, that realism became my cult. So it is important to understand what that realism is. And it is said that realism is essential for peace. Even in international relations, there is a lot of work on it. As per Stanford Encyclopedia, what realism meant is they are critical of moralism, abstract moral discourse that does not take into account political realities. So it is important as political realities, they assign supreme value to successful political action based on prudence, the ability to judge the rightness of a given action from among possible alternatives on the basis of its likely political consequences. For realism, theory consists in ascertaining facts and giving them meaning through reason. And this is which we find that this part of realism is which becomes the base of Bhagat Singh's further work. In the meantime, De Valera, who was the president of Irish Freedom, a freedom fighter, he was in New York in February 1920, and he was received by given a dinner by freedom of the Friends of Freedom of India, New York, and he addressed, and this is a part of his address. And if those who decree physical force only make half the effort to bring it about that we are making, it will speedily come. But until it comes, and while endeavoring to bring it about, we of Ireland and you of India must uh, each, uh, each of us endeavor, both as separate people and in combination, to rid ourselves of the vampire that is fattening on our blood. And we must never allow ourselves to forget what weapon it was by which Washington rid his country of this same vampire. And this was echoed in India. And then in 1924, uh, Ireland wins its dominion status when our non-coalition movement is withdrawn. So Bhagat Singh's is that what is that experience of the Irish which makes British to sit with them in the table and meet their demands. So he find this my fight for Irish freedom, because Dan Breen, one of their uh, top guerrilla leader. So and it was published in Pratap by Pratap Press in Hindi. It was Bhagat Singh's first translation in the age of 17. So as he learns from the experience, so Suchindranath Sanyal, because he is there, he was part of the Ghadar party we talked last time. He was the main coordinator along with the assistant of Raspberry Bose, who are working for it. He was sentenced in 1977, but was released in 1922. He wrote his book Bandi Jeevan, which is a popular treatise of the revolutionaries. And he was one of the founder, because this way British left him and he introduced Bhagat Singh to Hindustan Republican Association and first version of that. And this was the Ram Prasad Bismal and Ishfaq, who virtually was the basis of that. And little about Bismal is important, that Bismal also started his first with reading Majni. It was an Italian revolutionary. He started translating and publishing in 1917 under the name Sushil Mala. And his first book we translated was America ko Svadhinta Kaise Mili, How America Gained Freedom. देशवासियों के नाम संदेश, a message to the countrymen. There was a Maitri Vedi, one of the early revolutionary group under Gendalal Dikshit. He joined that. When they were arrested, he escaped in 1920. But then he published a experience of Russian revolutionary movement called Bolshevikon ki Kartut. Halak Kartut is negative, which virtually means how boldly they worked. Man Ki Lehar and Swadeshi Rang were two books of poems which there. He wrote a biography of Kamal Pasha, Turkey, and Catherine of Russian socialist revolutionary woman, because he called mother of revolution, or Kisanon Ki Durdasha, about the life of the peasantry. So he was contributing to Aaj, Vartman, Prabha by the name Agyat. And he was the first to introduce Sufi Amba Prasad, which we talked earlier, into that Hindi belt. So this was, they had a Kakori action on 5th August, because that was the first lesson they learned, is that we must be strong, as De Valera was saying, that we must be strong, organized militarily to defeat the British. But this one action, which was virtually a challenge to the British by snatching the treasury money, but this was that 18 of them were finally there. This is Ram Prasad Bismal, Rajendra Lahiri, because Ishfaq was later on arrested and there. So these are the 4 martyrs in 17th and 19th. There were 2 dates. One of them was on 17th, Rajendra Lahiri at Gonda jail, and Ram Prasad Bismal. And we know more about this is by Sarfaroshi Ki Tamanna Ab Hamare Dil Mein Hai. With that song, we usually associate them. But their message was more interesting because Bismil also completed his autobiography, which was completed 3 days before his being hanged in Gorakhpur. So he announced that me and Ashfaq have become the symbol of Hindu-Muslim unity, and whenever remember us by strengthening this unity. Two of the verses of Ram Prasad Bismil specifically re-emphasize that Hindu और मुसलमान मिलकर के जो चाहें सो कर सकते हैं ए चरखा कुआं होशियार हो तू ए चरखा कुआं होशियार हो तुम पुरजोश हमारे नाले हैं that we have a strong voice. Hindu and Muslim together can do anything they want for time. Beware of us as our determination is strong. और दूसरा उनका मोहब्बत पर सब मोहम्मद पर सब कुछ कुर्बान मौत के होने हो तो होने हो मेहमान कृष्ण की मुरली की सुन तान चलो हो सब मिलकर बलिदान चलो lay down everything to Muhammad, even if it means death. Follow Krishna's flute. Everyone should sacrifice together. So this is that, and it is interesting because he wrote about Mustafa Kamal Pasha. That means how the word experience was being studied by, because this was Kamal Pasha who actually made an end to the Ottoman Empire and established the Republic of Turkey, serving as his first president from 1923 till his death 1938. He modernized Turkey into a secular industrial nation, ideologically a secularist and a nationalist. His politics and theories are known as Kemalism. And his message, which is his message displayed on his tomb also, that peace at home will be peace in the world. And a most interesting part is that he had named one district in Turkey after dedicating to Ram Prasad Bismil. So a revolutionary zeal of Ram Prasad Bismil was recognized by another revolutionary, and this district still exists in Turkey. So as I said that Chandrasekhar Azad escaped the Kakori case, but at the banks of Satara, he actually rebuilt the whole revolutionary party. He was living as a sadhu.
Dr. Singh, sorry to interrupt. Could you just give a very short understanding of what the Kakori case was? You mentioned that it was, they stole something, but could you just explain for maybe a minute about it?
Actually, this was a railway. Kakori is a station, and a train which was carrying the British treasury money. It was stopped there, and that money was taken away. So this was a direct challenge to the British, and British reacted similarly. As I told, 18 of them were tried and 4 of them were hanged over there. So that's a one important case of first challenge to the Britishers. But that also made Bhagat Singh think later that maybe we have learned half lesson from My Fight for Irish Freedom by Dan Breen, who says that if I attack the Viceroy and come to my villagers will defend me to the last breath of theirs and will not let me down. So Bhagat Singh takes it that there are so strong people, but this one case they were suppressed. And so Chandrasekhar Azad was part of that young, and he was called by Bismil Quicksilver. Now he became steel, I say, by on the banks of Satara, he became a steel. Quicksilver because he was very emotional. And this is some of his photographs. We generally take this photograph, which was a trick played by his friend, Master Rudra who actually had photographed with his, this is Master Rudra family, so that he looks like a family man. And this as a somebody who is a wrestler. And these photographs were protected by laying them down in the wall. So, but normally we try to see him, but this is a man. And this is the last photograph. So Bhagat Singh now is 18 years, and he writes that up to that period, before up to that HR is that activity, he was said, I was a romantic, idealist revolutionary. We were only to follow. But now comes the time to shoulder the whole responsibility. Due to the inevitable reaction for some time, the very existence of the party seemed impossible. Enthusiastic comrades, nay leaders, began to jeer at us. For some time, I was afraid that someday I also might not be convinced of the futility of our own program. That was a turning point in my revolutionary career. So this is where the two young men, Bhagat Singh is 18 years and Chandrasekhar Azad is 19, that they take back the command of this. So Bhagat Singh argues, you go and oppose the prevailing faith, you go and criticize a hero, great man who is generally believed to be above criticism because he is thought to be infallible. The strength of your argument shall force the multitude to decree you as vainglorious. This is due to the mental stagnation. And we face it every day. This is from his that essay, Why I'm an Atheist, because that is his autobiographical note also. But he says that criticism and independent thinking are the two indispensable qualities of a revolutionary. Because Mahatma Ji is great, therefore none should criticize him because he has risen above. Therefore, everything he says, maybe in the field of politics or religion, economics or ethics, is right. Whether you are convinced or not, you must say, yes, that is true. This mentality does not lead towards progress. It is rather too obviously reactionary. So that was his analysis. And this is what the turning point is, that he says, study was the cry that reverberated in the corridors of my mind. Study to enable yourself with arguments in favor of your cult. I began to study. My previous faith and convictions underwent a remarkable modification. The romance of violent methods alone, which was so prominent amongst our predecessors, was replaced by serious ideas. No more mysticism, no more blind faith. Realism became our cult. Use of force justifiable when resorted to as a matter of terrible necessity. Non-violence as policy, indispensable for all mass movements, so much about methods. The most important thing was the clear conception of the ideal for which we were to fight. As there were no important activities in the field of action, I got ample opportunity to study various ideals of the word revolution. And if we explore him by him and the comrades, Bhagat Singh could read in 5 languages: Urdu, English, Hindi, Punjabi, and Bengali. He wrote in 4 equally effectively, that was Urdu, English, Hindi, and Punjabi. But what studied, you can find it on this website, shahidbhagatsingh.org. So, well, there are a whole list of the books and literature, political thought, jurisprudence, which he read. So about Ireland, he had studied 9 because that was their first interest. But later on, they found that negotiation of dominion status was, which was not in a way helped them have their freedom. So about the British literature and thought, he had 43 books in list. About European 24, American 31, Russian 36, and whatever published in India in these different 5 languages, there are about 159, this is all taken from their record. So, well, this is the time when Naujawan Bharat Sabha is there. Because there is a very important that after Belgaum Congress, Gandhi ji criticized revolutionaries. But there is an interesting Gandhi revolutionary debate of 1925. On the behalf of the revolutionaries, it was led by Sachindranath Sanyal and Manmat Gupta. And Bhagat Singh refers that one person who was atheist but never claimed it much was Manmat Gupta. So Bhagat Singh concluded, as per its manifesto of the Naujawan Bharat Sabha, that our country is passing through a chaos. There is a mutual distress and despair prevailing everywhere. The great leaders have lost faith in the cause, and most of them no more enjoy the confidence of the masses. We are, however, very fortunate to find ourselves on the threshold of the new era. He looks an opportunity in that. And he said, does it require any revelation now to make us realize that we are enslaved and must be free? Shall we wait for the uncertain sage to make us feel that we are an oppressed people? Shall we expectantly wait for divine help or some miracle to deliver us from bondage? Do we not know the fundamental principle of liberty? Those who want to be free must themselves strike the blow. Young men, awake, arise, and you have slept too long. So then, in that manifesto is recorded, we have appealed to the young only. Again and again, they faced the storm of oppression, but they did not lose the courage. If it were they, the young only, who fought, and everywhere the young can fight without hope, without fear, and without hesitation. And we find today in the great Russia the emancipation of the world. The weakness of our society is marked, and he said that a branch of people tree is cut and religious feeling of the Hindus are injured. A corner of paper idol Tazia, the idol breaker Mohammedans, is broken and Allah gets enraged. Who cannot be satisfied with anything less than the blood of infidel Hindus? Man ought to be attached more importance than the animals, and yet here in India, they break each other's heads in the name of sacrifice sacred animals. Our vision is circumspect, and sometimes we think in terms of internationalism. So there was some word missing. Uh, Asked to serve their country, they reply, "Oh, sirs, we are cosmopolitan and believe in universal brotherhood. Let us not quarrel with the British, they are our brothers." So he says that a good idea, a beautiful phrase, but they miss its implications. The doctrine of universal brotherhood demands that the exploitation of man by man and nation by nation must be rendered impossible, equal opportunity to all without any sort of distinction. But British rule in India is a direct negation of all these. So a word about social service is also coded there, that young men, these men are noble and self-denying, but they cannot understand that charity cannot solve the problems of hunger and disease in India and for that matter in any country. And the last is the religious superstitions and bigotry are great hindrances in our progress. They have proved an obstacle in our way and we must do away with them. The things that cannot bear free thought must perish. There are many other such weaknesses which we are to overcome. Uh, so this is that our political struggle just began after the Great War of Independence in 1857. It has passed through different phases. The future program of preparing the country will begin with the motto, this is very important, the revolution by the masses and for the masses. In other words, Swaraj for the 99%. Swaraj not only attained by the masses, but also for the masses. This is a very difficult task. And when he talks about 99%, this is that the British has given us inequality, and the problem of inequality is to be resolved, and that will be Swaraj. So he says that young men don't get disheartened. When you find such a great battle to fight single-handed with none to help you, you must realize your own talent, strength, rely on yourself, and success is yours. So further he says that he do not hesitate, let not the theory of incarnation haunt your mind and break your courage. Everybody can become great if he strives. Do not lose patience and sense at one time and hope at another. Try to make stability and determination a second nature to yourself. Let them, then young men, think independently, calmly, serenely, and patiently. In all seriousness and sincerity, let them make the triple motto of service, suffering, sacrifice their sole guide. So finally, we want people who may be prepared to fight without hope, without fear, and without hesitation, and who may be willing to die unhonored, unwept, and unsung. Without that spirit, we will not be able to fight the great twofold battle that lies before us. Twofold because of the internal foe on the one hand and the foreign enemy on the other. our real battle is against our own disabilities, which are exploited by the enemy and some of our own people for their selfish motives. So actually this NBS program, and I may add here, there was a strong contribution by uh, his colleague, revolutionary Bhagwati Charan Vora, in drafting this manifesto. So Bhagat Singh, uh, Comrade Ramchandra, and martyr uh, uh, Bhagwati Charan Vora actually drafted that one. So this was the maturest element, which is now. So, but it was that we must overcome the communal feeling, that is the division on the basis of religion, and but they have to be liberated out of the young minds itself. The caste prejudices, the what he called as the problem of untouchability has to be removed, and the young minds can take it. So equal participation of boys and girls. So this was also the outcome of the dialogue between revolutionaries and Gandhi. And finally Gandhi has said that these are the weaknesses until they are overcome. Bhagat Singh said that, okay, this is really a realist problem. And then, but he said that the Ram Raj is no solution. The actual solution lies in understanding the solution to social, economic, and political inequality, which is the socialism. So the socialism word was added at that time. So in the meantime, there was another movement going on because the type of police atrocities which were taking place on the Sikhs in their Gurdwara reform, a movement came called Babar Akali martyrs. They were actually, and 6 of them were hanged, and this is their last bodies on 27th February 1926. This was the day of Holi, and Bhagat Singh actually wrote an article on them. Holi ke din, water, that is he written in Pratap, blood-stained Holi. So this is his first uh, lockup in 30th May 1927 to 4th July 1927. And this is the photograph of the lockup. And this is a DSP interrogation who was actually engaging him, and they uh, stealing. They took this photograph to keep in record because they have no record of Bhagat Singh's photo by which he could be taken. But about this, his view of atheist view, this is where he says that I was put to test. Then in those days, I believed, though I was quite innocent, the police could do anything they desired because they told him that you have the part of a bomb throwing on the people and Kakori case, and we can hang you. But that very day, certain police officials began to pursue me to offer my prayers to God regularly through both the times. Now I was an atheist. I wanted to settle for myself whether it was a day of peace and enjoyment alone that I could boast of being an atheist, or whether during such hard times as well I could stick to those principles of mine. After great consideration, I decided that I could not lead myself to believe in any and pray to God. No, I never did. That was the real test, and I came out successful. Never for a moment did I desire to save my neck at the cost of certain other things. So I was a staunch disbeliever, and here have ever since been. It was not an easy job to stand this test. So here actually there is a relationship of necessity and freedom, because when did because as he felt like having his strong convictions. So that is what Karl Marx said, necessity is blind until it become conscious. That is, until we are become conscious about our necessity. And when we become conscious, he says that freedom is the consciousness of necessity. So uh, but this was Engels who put it another way. The freedom is recognition of necessity. But there is another later philosopher who said there is a dialectical relationship between necessity and freedom, because one, he gives rise to the other, but this has to be manipulated by effort. So necessity and freedom, you recognize something which you feel is essential for your understanding for your growth, but then you make an effort and you could achieve freedom. So I think this last one is always which motivates me, and I found Bhagat Singh constantly uh, doing this one. So another very important part is that you, what type of motivation do you have? As he was virtually charged with that you wanted to be popular, that is why you are doing this. But I asked this question to one old associate of Arvindo Ghosh, founder of Yugantra Party, Nalini Kishore Guha. I happened to meet him. He was 90 plus at that time at Mirzapur. And I had a doubt that maybe Bhagat Singh looks to me big or a great one because he is my maternal uncle. So I said that, well, let me check my this view with Shri Nalini Kishore Guha. But his answer was that Bhagat Singh is loved by the people because his motivation was the love for his people. So love for the people is which motivated, and when we find it, you find that love all through his writing and along with his friends. So there is a lot of stories about how they loved their people, how they discussed, lived with them, and as I've told you, his life with small few days with Ibrahim, how he feels involved in their life also and try to help them. So the next problem, which I think the first political problem program which was announced by Bhagat Singh was on 8th 9th September 1928, because this was the first meeting of the Hindustan Republican Association in Delhi. Uh, People, representative from all the states were there. And Bhagat Singh said that let us name it as Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, because the clear objective of our struggle must be before the people. And why socialism? Because one of the biggest problem perpetuated by the British on us is the inequality, political, social, and economic. And if we have to really get liberated, then this inequality is to be addressed. And there is a real solution which has come up on the world stage with a socialist life. And he has studied that in Russia. And one of the notes he made is the Russian experiment 1917 to 1927. This was a book written by K.T. Shah, one of the economics professors of Bombay University. But that is his heading, which he makes it. So now, just to wind up, that is the revolutionary strategy which was adopted by Bhagat Singh and his comrades was that you are not to attack on individuals, but to attack on institutions. So there are four pillars of any system: police system, legislative system, jail system, and judicial system. So to learn from Bhagat Singh, we must understand that the approach and to raise consciousness of the toiling masses by determination, self-sacrificing example is important. And that is why it is much more important that he walks into Central Assembly with his comrade V. Bhatkeshwar Dutt on 8th April and with a big bang, because until you create a situation in which they will listen to you, they can just whisk you away. So that was what we later on was popularized as bomb case, but it was a big bang without any damage to anybody. Well, it was a smoke bomb which was there. So this was to attack the British Institute, which perpetuates suppression of people's right. Three issues he addressed. First, he said that let us popularize a dialectical relationship between imperialism and revolution. And the slogan, which was given by him, and later on he wrote that if the Indian masses could understand our this slogan, I think our price of our life is is achieved. So that was down with imperialism, long live revolution. So that second was that we are talking about complete independence, but personal liberty, without it, you cannot have it. And one of the act which was being, the public safety bill was actually taking away the personal liberty. And right of association, he say, without that democracy is impossible. So there was a bill Trade Dispute Bill, which was taking away the right of association. And we find that these days, the same thing is being repeated, what the British was doing at that time, taking away the personal liberties, taking away the right of association, the labor laws are just mutilated, and peasantry rights are mutilated. But now mostly people know about the police action, but police institute is to enthrall fear and subjugate the masses. Now, when Lala Lajpat Rai's death took place, this lady Basanti Devi was a great revolutionary lady. He was the wife of the great leader C.R. Das. And like her husband, she was sympathetic towards revolutionary activities and Indian independence movement. And she led the Bengal movement after C.R. Das' death. So he called to the youth to act so that you liberate the masses of the fear caused by the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. And it was to this call that Bhagat Singh and his comrades planned an action against police by punishing a police officer in his office alone. So that was inculcating fear, which was being imposed by the police. So this action has to be taken in that. The third important part is that as soon as they were sentenced for life imprisonment in the assembly case, they immediately started the hunger strike because the racial discrimination in the jail was then there, because there was a European ward and there was Indian ward. And they said, why this discrimination is? So this was the first thing which they actually fought out, that should be, because we are political prisoners, we should be given equal opportunity or living conditions as European ward is there, because they were kept in the European ward in Delhi. So along with that, he said that we are young, we should have the right to read and write, so that this was the second demand. And third, this hunger strike, because with the determination they continued, caused a lot of awareness in the masses. And particularly one of their comrade, Jatin Das, he got martyrdom on 33 days of hunger strike on 13th September 29. And this is Jatin Das. But this is a big transformation in the Indian mind, that his last journey from Lahore to Calcutta, where there were 2 lakh people to say goodbye at Lahore, and there were 7 lakh people walking with him. And this was led by the same Basanti Devi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and other leaders. And this actually brought up that postponed resolution of complete independence, which was actually postponed, and it was adopted at Lahore. And there was a vow which was taken of complete independence on 26 January 1930. And this document has been kept away from the gaze of the young men, because this is the most important document. Sometime we can share it. I have found it, and this was drafted by Gandhiji. So jail rules are loosened. Bhagat Singh gets as a trophy his jail notebook. This is the first page of that. It was a 404 pages notebook, and he could utilize his time in jail also. And the very first note which he makes on this is, my strength is the strength of the oppressed. My courage is the courage of desperation. And in Urdu, there is a couplet, कुर्रे खाक है गर्दिश में तपश से मेरी मैं वो मजनू हूँ जो जिंदा में भी आजाद रहा. Every tiny molecule of ash is in motion with my heat, and I am such a lunatic that I am free even in jail. And this is the spirit which is important. And then the fourth system was challenged was the judicial system. The Lahore conspiracy case was instituted, but and understand, this was a Lahore conspiracy case waging war against the British. And that is what Bhagat Singh emphasizes. Don't reduce it to Sanders murder case. It is not, that is only one of the many events which HSRA has been doing to challenge the British. So the boldness and the case was, the way they were facing it with boldness the Travis was attracting masses all over India. So the British wanted to speed up this. So they set up a special tribunal with the powers of High Court, and the revolutionists boycotted this and to expose the injustice and the predetermination of the justice which was there. And in confusion, the British government has to even remove one Justice Aga Haider, who was taking a very judicious position because most of these uh, people were not attending the cast. And Bhagat Singh said, this is our victory because they have come down to it that they want to kill us or imprison our comrades, but they don't want a proper judicial process to be followed. So I just wanted to draw your attention that most important documents have been written from May 1930, because from this was that on 7th October they were committed to the death cells. The jail notebook records is how creatively utilized his time up to from May. That was actually in 1929, 13th or September or 14th September. But actually 12th September he got it, and up to 7th of October he was making all his notes. And all those books were revisited. They were not the first time that he was reading those books. So post 7th October, the most important actually documents are written with cool and argumented way from his death cell. So what do we learn then? Two quotes from Bhagat Singh. Philanthropy does not bring social change. To bring social change, one needs a scientifically oriented social dynamic force. And his biographer, Bhupinder Sanyal, which was the first biography in May 31, though it was confiscated, Bhupinder Sanyal was imprisoned for 2 months, for 2 years for publishing this, was said that Bhagat Singh used to emphasize that when I'm convinced of a scientific way of thinking, I live by those principles. This is important. It is not only learning, but how you try to apply them to the life. And this is one of the old revolutionary. He started his revolutionary career with Bhagat Singh's uncle in 1906 and 7, is Ram Saran Das. He was with the Ghadar party. He was sentenced to death, but later on commuted to life. On release, he joined with the Bhagat Singh and his comrades in 1928. So, but later on was sentenced to 5 years. And he wrote a book, Dreamland, while he was in jail, Andamans and other. So this book, he said, he gave it to Bhagat Singh to give a note on it. And he said, I strongly recommend this book to young men in particular, but with a warning. Please do not read it to follow blindly and take for granted what is written in it. Read it, criticize it, think over it, try to formulate your own ideas with its help. So that's important. And I think this message is to all of us that whenever we read it completely with an open mind. We read it with a critical mind, think over, and then we'll try to formulate our own ideas with the help of these books. And one of the important development which has taken place in the last few years is recognizing the revolutionary passion of Bhagat Singh. This is a French historian's debate that is there how that passion, revolutionary passion, and I think this is the most important element which we should recognize is what is the passion? Passion is a feeling of intense enthusiasm towards or compelling desire for someone or something. Passion can range from eager interest or admiration from an idea, proposal, or cause. And they brought Bhagat Singh on the title of this book, The Revolutionary Passion. This was being studied along with Kamal Pasha and Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. And so they said that this is the word of revolutionary passion. And that's what we can learn is how to, first of all, prepare ourselves and then be passionate about this. And I hope this will help you to revisit Bhagat Singh and his comrades and draw your own learning and choose your cause and dedicate it with confidence. Thank you very much for patiently listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jagmohan Singh. It was fabulous. I personally learned so much, and given the number of comments and questions, I can tell very clearly people learned a lot. We would like to give you a couple of minutes of break, sir, while we make a few announcements. I know you've been at it for an hour and a half. Please,
No problem.
need to take a break. But really, Dr. Singh, it was an honor to hear you again. This is our second webinar with you. I want to tell our participants that we will now be taking questions, starting with questions already raised. What I want to tell you though is that in case you missed the last webinar, which was also with Dr. Singh, it was about the making of Bhagat Singh, in which we studied the influences on Bhagat Singh's life as he was growing up. So it has information about his family, about the religion he was born into, the other religious influences on him, the other influences that were more philosophical and so on him, the incidents like, for instance, the Jallianwala Bagh incident. All these had influences on him, and we have discussed those in great detail in our last webinar, which is called The Making of Bhagat Singh, which is available on our YouTube channel. And now I ask my colleague, Sameer Dosani, to please take up the questions that are already in queue, and only then we will be able to take new questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Shireen. So I'm going to group the questions with the permission of the attendees. I'm going to group the questions into categories. The first category of questions has to do with the question of violence, non-violence, Gandhi, and Bhagat Singh. So let me see if I can distill that. There's one question around, after the non-cooperation movement ended, what was Bhagat Singh's impression? I think you talked about that a little bit in terms of the student reaction, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. There's another question which says, something to the extent of Gandhi was for non-violence, was Bhagat Singh for violence, and how did they reconcile that, or how was that reconciled within the movement? And related to that, there's a question of whether or not Gandhi actually met Bhagat Singh in prison. Some people believe that's the case. I think there's some movies that perhaps depict that. So maybe you can address those first, and then we'll go to the next set of questions.
Well, I think the very first answer I try to give is that it was the abrupt stoppage of or withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement that make this revolutionary group to reassess themselves, try to understand, because there was the Ghadar party's experience with them, who brought the word imperialism, that it is not the fight with that. And they virtually found that it needs, that the solution to the problem is there. So that way, Bhagat Singh was actually motivated, but later on, instead of going into depression, they went into action for that. That's why I said they studied Turkey, they studied Ireland, they studied the whole world phenomena, because those 2 years from 25th, 1925 to 27 or 28, because that was the period which made them prepare themselves with that. The second is that Gandhi ji had his own way of doing things, and Bhagat Singh, and if we take it, it is not a question of, the Bhagat Singh defined it, that it is a question of being empowered or being weak. It is not the question of violence or non-violence. That is the wrong binary which is imposed on us, and we are made to think in that. And if you want to understand it, ahimsa word comes from the Jain concept, ahimsa paramo dharam. And ahimsa means you should be so sensitive that unknowingly you should not harm anybody. And that is what realism is. That is what I find, that Bhagat Singh's realism is, and he again and again emphasized on that, that it is the and not ethical questions, but it is a practical question which should, and it how, when, well, how much power to be used. And then when you are facing with a power which is so brutal, even Gandhi says it is a vampire. Well, Irish says it. He says Rakesh. Gandhi ji again and again in 1921 is saying कि राकेश शक्ति है, इसके लिए हमें आगे आके. So now you are giving a vocabulary which finally Gandhi ji himself takes a difference, and that is what the debate of revolutionaries with Gandhi ji is in 25th. But Bhagat Singh says the real problem is the communal issue, the caste issue, the participation of the young, not only boys but girls also, and they do it. So that is the evolution in that process. What Bhagat Singh's assessment at the end is that Sabarmati ke sant ko koi sathai chela nahi milega. That the saint of Sabarmati would not have a permanent disciple, because all people are hanging around him because of their bourgeois modesty and their selfishness. I think that is the most appropriate assessment of Mahatma Ji by Bhagat Singh. And he has also said that we want a criticism, and very important that we sometimes, Sukhdev has written a last letter from the same gallows to Mahatma Gandhi, which was published in April. So this is worth reading, how they could dialogue with them. And also, and the last point to be remembered is that Bhagat Singh says that we were the vanguard of the broad national movement. That is, when there is a movement, you try to give it a direction, and that direction giving was the actual achievement of Bhagat Singh and his comrades, and they did very well. Ji.
Fantastic. And did you want to comment on whether they met in prison, Bhagat Singh and Gandhi?
No, Gandhi ji avoided Bhagat Singh. Even he avoided to give a statement on the martyrdom of Jatan Das, which was actually, and there's a very interesting paper now written by one professor, Niti Nair of Virginia University, that actually Bhagat Singh won the masses by his non-violent means. The jail, hunger strike was important, but Mahatma Ji actually even hello.
Sorry, we lost you for a second. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
The next set of questions are just around some clarifications. So there's one question from Rahul asking if you can clarify a little bit about the story of Sakina and the marriage ring. And there's another question from Neil asking if you can clarify a bit about the Bismil district in Turkey. I think you explained those stories, but maybe you can talk a little bit more, and then we'll go to.
Okay. About Ibrahim and Sakina, because when Bhagat Singh actually defied the British order, he gave a reception to that Jatha, which was going to Amritsar, and his father wanted him to escape, and he personally took him to Amritsar, and he was then was made to stay with the family of a friend of Bhagat Singh's father, but he was a rich man, but a big family. So then he said that because there is so many people here, I cannot utilize my time for reading. So he requested his friend Arjun Singh Gadgaj, who was the editor of Kirti magazine, Ghazal Party is a magazine, Punjabi magazine, and he was working together. He said that give me some place where I can just read and have a spoon, so that I escape from that. And he took him to one of the workers, because they were organizing the workers. That was one of the program which Kirti group was taking. So Ibrahim was a employee of the canal department for water control, and there is always 2 huts which are provided to him. So he said that in one hut our family will stay, in another hut you stay. But when those Lalaji came to know that Bhagat Singh is missing, so he got worried, because how could I tell his father that if something wrong goes on? And he knew that Arjun Singh Gadgaj will know about him. He took him there, and he said that my problem is not with you. My problem was that there was so much of rush that I could not devote my time independently for reading. So I just came here. So don't worry about that. And then that Lalaji, while departing, gave him a diamond ring. He said that, okay, if you don't stay with me, keep this with you, because if you need it, I will be satisfied that I will help you. But he said that every day I listen to Ibrahim and his wife, well, worrying about the marriage of the daughter. And he said that it is of no use to me, but it will definitely be of helpful to Sister Sakina. So he gifted that to Ibrahim for the marriage of that. That's a human touch of the type of people they were living with, how he is sensitive to that. What was the second part?
The second point was if you know any more about the history of the Bismil district in Turkey and why Kemal Atatürk had it named after Ramprasad Bismil.
That was actually, this district was established for settlement of refugees in Turkey. And somebody had brought into the attention of Kamal Pasha about Ramprasad Bismil, because he has written a tract on his biography. So that way he took interest into Ramprasad Bismil, and he proposed that this district should be named after, dedicating to Ramprasad Bismil, and still that district exists over there as a Bismil.
Fantastic, thank you. The next set of questions are a little bit more difficult. Shine is asking, we had one definition from one of the revolutionaries about democracy being equivalent with public opinion. And Shine is saying that these days, public opinion is so racist, so casteist, so Islamophobic. What is the analysis of this? Can we really take this as a definition of democracy? I think maybe we start with that one.
If we take it at fundamental level, the democracy is the participation of the masses into the decision taking, ideally. And it always degenerate to when autocracy or towards the dictatorial things, that right of the people is slowly taken away. As first it is taken away that the democracy is voting only. So later on you are not even now it has become much more terrible that even an independent opinion is not acceptable, because the government, and Bhagat Singh has a very interesting article, another article, that why the governments create conspiracies. He said that when they are unable to answer the practical problems of economy and other problems, their failure is covered under the conspiracy case. That is what is happening today. So I think we have to understand that this is a reversal process in which whatever was achieved during freedom struggle is being taken away. Even if we just understand that fundamental rights was virtually passed in March 1931, Karachi Congress, because Bhagat Singh criticized that complete independence without something solid for the people, what this independence would mean. What is a solid thing in the which will end this? Then Pandit Nehru and his committee brought this fundamental rights, which is now constitutional component. So that way, I think the democracy which is now virtually having disfigured, I would say, the people's participation is, and that is why, we are seeing the failure in the corona. Our rulers didn't wanted the common man to be participant, whereas those countries which have controlled, they brought everybody equal participant in, and that is in crisis, and this will deepen the crisis. And democracy is one way in which virtually it balances the autocratic mind of the rulers by the demand of the people.
I think that's good transition for our last, what I think will be our last question, although if people have more questions, feel free to write. This question is coming from Aradhita. She says that, you know, many right-wing elements, including RSS type elements, they are trying to appropriate the history of Bhagat Singh. What is your impression of that? What should be done in reaction to that? And how
My
can
reaction was,
you even make it?
my reaction was that at one time, one of our young men from the family was advised by some RSS persons that you bring out his jail notebook in a table coffee, so that you can make money. So, and this was before 200, this was in 2013 or something. And then they wanted that Modi should release this. So my reaction was that a bloody person whose hands are soaked in blood of the innocents, how could he touch Bhagat Singh's notebook? And he never touched it. Similarly, when Manmohan Singh was actually in 2005 called by Bush he removed his two ministers because they didn't want an oil pipeline. So two ministers were thrown, and Manmohan Singh went to meet him. And at that time, it was very stunning that on birthday of Bhagat Singh, Manmohan Singh was in Ludhiana, and he didn't talk about Bhagat Singh. Nehru Museum and Library, they arranged a 100th birthday of Bhagat Singh, and somebody was in touch with me. I said that don't call only relatives from Bhagat Singh. All his colleagues' relatives should come. And he said that Manmohan Singh will be inaugurating. I think he will be in trouble because he doesn't want to talk about Bhagat Singh. And he visited, he honored family members as ritual, but he never talked about Bhagat Singh. And my reaction was that the person who handshake with Bush cannot see eye to eye with Bhagat Singh, because Bhagat Singh says, down with imperialism, and you want to live with imperialism. So I think we have to be very clear. We don't expect, and appropriation is one of the cunningness which the RSS and these criminal forces use. They don't let you know the total story. And one of, I think I'm really honored by Shireen and Samir that they gave me the task of what to learn, because that is the question we are trying to say. And this is what they don't want. They only want somebody to be only worshipped. And that's what I warn. Don't take Bhagat Singh alone. As my grandmother, his mother used to say, well, my son looks good with his other comrades. So let him be seen in the totality of, and everybody has contributed. And then if you don't do it, they will raise another question. No, Sukhdev ko nahi, they are not talking about Sukhdev. Whereas I initiated Sukhdev's birth centenary, I initiated Rajguru's birth centenary in that very spirit that we have to understand everybody's contribution in making of Bhagat Singh also, because Bhagat Singh alone would not have become that way.
Fantastic. The last question, and then I'll hand it over to Shireen to wrap up. Lakhbir Singh ji is asking if Bhagat Singh was alive into the period of freedom post 1947. Do you think modern India would look different than it looks now?
I think he very clearly left his baton. And very interestingly, his baton was carried by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. You don't understand that last political manifesto which Bhagat Singh wrote on 2nd February 1931 was with Netaji. He circulated with the revolutionaries in Bengal, and it was actually recovered in Bengal. And later on, Netaji carried it further. So I think instead of that, we should ask ourselves that what do we learn from Bhagat Singh and do today? It is not Bhagat Singh what he would do. He would have contributed, he said it. But he said that until I am free, I don't want to be just incarcerated in the jail for years and then people will forget, and then you come. And that's what actually happened with Aurobindo Ghosh, that after 3 years of his jail, when he came out, all his that group was dismantled, and then he went through more spiritual experiments than with that. So I think we should ask ourselves that question, that today, with this understanding of Bhagat Singh and his comrades about the whole process of society and the real solution to the problem, his realism is challenging us that instead of calling him back, we should take that baton and do our responsibility.
Thank you, Dr. Jagmohan Singh. This is again Shireen from Peace Vigil. To wrap up, we would like to point out certain points from Dr. Singh's presentations for our viewers to take away and perhaps ponder. And you can write to us or write to Dr. Singh also directly. One is very important coming out of his presentation about Bhagat Singh is that charity will not solve poverty. And we feel that, you know, if we go to a soup kitchen or we make a few sandwiches or we give money at the end of the year, that is going to change the world. Unfortunately, it won't. It will provide bandages, sure. Feeding the hungry is important. Giving them clothing is important, but it's not going to solve poverty. So we have to do more than that. We have to engage in systemic changes. Secondly, again, it is related, is that Dr. Singh said that philanthropy does not bring social change. And that is very important. If we have a person like Kim Kardashian or, you know, even George Bush, or, you know, these big celebrities, big people who have these organizations or foundations that are claiming they're going to do things for social change, they are not going to do it because they are part of the problem. So we have to be aware of it, you know, that which organizations, which foundations, which people are we helping? Just because somebody has a big name, fashion model, it could be a politician, we have to be aware that when they're claiming they're doing social change, is it really doing that, or is it just to gain popularity and be in the news? Now about Naujawan Bharat Sabha, there are certain points that Dr. Jagmohan Singh made, and I would like to mention them so that we can see the similarities between then and present day India, and in fact all over the world, is that the Naujawan Bharat Sabha spoke against communalism. So we had that problem then, we have it now, we must deal with it. Caste prejudice is another thing. So, you know, they spoke out against it, and in their own circles, they were fighting it. So they had people from different religions, different castes, and they were constantly talking. These young people who were martyred at the age of like their early 20s, they were constantly talking about religious and caste unity. Plus gender. Dr. Jagmohan Singh mentioned gender. And in fact, if you go to the old webinar, on the making of Bhagat Singh, you will see that Dr. Jagmohan Singh's great-great-grandfather, that is Bhagat Singh's grandfather, he himself was engaged in promoting gender equity. And that is seen in his family, you know, and Bhagat Singh promoted it and his comrades promoted it. So complete participation of women is very important. Then socialism. And I think many of us get scared by this word, especially in the West. And these days, even in India, there are people who have just been booked under certain very draconian laws in India just because they found socialist books or, you know, books about communism in Russia in their house, and they've been arrested for that. So we must go deeper into it. Socialism is talking about equality in the spheres of social, economic, and political spheres, and there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, let us engage with it. Let us fight inequality and injustice and promote a more just and equitable society. And last of all, which is actually the main reason why we at Peace Vigil decided to have this webinar, is that very little is known about Bhagat Singh's ideology. Most people know of Bhagat Singh as a martyr, and the government often uses his image to talk about how a sense of pride and a sense of nationalism should be promoted. And we just talk about that part. The government also just talks about that part, that, okay, he was a martyr, he gave up his life for the country, not talking about the ideas that led him to do the kind of things he did. So he was talking against caste, he was talking against communalism, he was talking against a system where there is no logic, there is no scientific temperament, there are blind faith. And so, those things he fought against. He fought against imperialism, against colonialism. If he were alive today, he would be fighting against the atrocities on African Americans in the United States. He would be talking against atrocities on Muslims and Christians in India. And so it is very important that we take inspiration from his life and not just the fact that he was killed by the British, because there's a whole history behind his hanging that Dr. Singh has talked about in both the webinars. And I would encourage all of our participants here to, again, if you want to hear these webinars, they will be on our websites, on our YouTube channel, both of them. So feel free to listen to it. I think we may want to listen to it a couple of times to get the message absorbed better. It's very rare that a revolutionary has written so much. All those documents are available because of Dr. Singh and other comrades who did not let it become a commercial venture. It did not become a coffee book that you could buy. It's all available on his website, on the internet. So go and read, and we will do the same at Peace Vigil. Thank you so much for your participation, and a very special thanks, and a very, very grateful thanks to Dr. Singh.
My thanks to all the participants, and I was just going through the chat. We can continue our discussion even after this. They can write to me, they can write to you, you can reflect to that. And this has to be a continuous process, as you said. Maybe I could be more clearer on some of things, because when you question, it give me clarity also in understanding. And I think that will be very nice. So thank you very much.
Everyone, thank you very much. And here is to a more peaceful world, a more just world. And we would like to end by a song that Bhagat Singh and his comrades used to sing in the prison. O mera rang de basanti chola hoye, rang de basanti chola maaye, rang de basanti chola. O mera rang de basanti chola hoye, rang de basanti chola maaye, rang de basanti chola. I hope we are right that they used to sing this, but that's what the story we grew up with. Maybe we are wrong, but we just wanted to put out that sentiment.
But basanti here is the color of dedication to the society.
Yes, thank you so much.
That is to be understood. It is not to be confused with the Bhagwan these days.
No, Bhagat Singh.
Well, this is very important, because this was adopted by all those who left their worldly things and served the Guru Nanak adopted that. Everybody adopts that. So that is Basanti actually means leaving your own self and moving to the society.
I think that's very important explanation, Dr. Singh, because we are 100% sure, 101% sure that if Bhagat Singh were alive today, he would be giving hell to the Indian government. Yes.
He is giving even now.
Yes, his ideas are fallen, absolutely.
You don't need to be living, because your books threaten, your photograph threatens people. Yes. If Lenin's photograph can become a well, something like okay, this is the biggest threat to the government of India.
Yes, absolutely. So, Dr.
So
Singh,
nice.
thank you so much. Definitely, it was a beautiful life, well lived. Very young, a life that was taken away from the world, but he did give a lot to the world in that short life. And once again, thank you very much, Dr. Singh. We will be calling you now in a few minutes on your phone. We really appreciate. I mean, we can't say enough. We can't thank you enough. And also
No. But I'm thankful to you for well, making me think in a different way, which I never learned. Learning is the well, key, which I have to relearn and organize my thoughts to that. And that's so thank you
You're
very much.
you're very kind, and thank you everyone for attending.